Welcome to the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. I'm Heath, and it's time to get into the bite. All right, folks, welcome to the show. South Florida's ultimate resource for every local. There we are. We're back. We're also going to cover that future marine forecast, phase into tide charts, everything you need to know to help keep you in the fight. Before we get into this, though, if you want to learn more about fishing, grow his name, see some great, exciting offshore fishing adventures, you can start by hitting the subscribe button and joining the South Florida Saltwater Fishing family. All right, folks. So let's get right into this. Right? Nothing, no closures, no nothing, no news from kids or the FWC, our local, caretakers. So that's good news. No news is good news. And we're going to get right into this with our fishing report, right? So first up, we have Ryan Reynolds. We got a nice jack. This is some inshore stuff, right? The Crevel. Very nice catch. We'll zoom in here a little bit. It's a stud of a fish. It's fun to fight, and if you're not too afraid of eating them, they go well on the smoker. All right, so let's continue with our inshore bite. Let's see, anybody inshore? Here we go. Marlo Kennedy, Aleva. Nice squid caught on shrimp. Yeah, definitely some calamari. You get one of those. I'm not sure if that's a cuttlefish or a squid. I'm not really good like that. Anyway, dinner. All right, let's see. We're on to the reef now. We got Daniel. Nice Cero mackerel. Where did he say he got this? Elliott Key live ballyhoo, 50 feet of water. So typically this is mackerel. They swim around with the yellowtail. So if you're out there yellowtailing, your chances of, getting into the bite with one of them bad boys is always good. Cero mackerel, they're not fishy or none of that goodness. So yeah, good to go. So the Cero mackerel around, right? And like I said, they're with the yellowtail. Here we go. There we go. That's a boatload. There we are, and we're back. All right. Yeah, it's one of them days, huh? So, yeah, yellowtail, right? The yellowtail are swimming around. Like I said, they're swimming, ganging up with the Cero mackerel. So if you're into that bite, there you go. So the reef is on fire. It's been a slow troll bite lately. So just bear that in mind if you're out there trolling. Here we go. This nighttime yellowtail bite. Good to go. So like I told you, it's yellowtail time. So if you got that current and it's a slow bite for everything else, go on the waters and get into that bite with the yellowtail. Here we go. Osmani, his father, with one of his mutton snapper. Very nice. They managed to land very nice fish. So, our snapper bite is starting to turn on. The mutton snapper bite, here we go with spring, starting to turn on. And the yellowtail, as the waters warm up, that will kind of peter out a little bit. All right, so let's look at the deep, right, and figure out what else we got. Here we go. This is Ray. Ray got himself a nice king mackerel. Miami offshore on a live pilchard. So hey, there you go. Live baiting is the way to go. What we've noticed right now, I headed out Sunday. Yes, Sunday, and got trolled. I caught a shark. But what I noticed more than that was scattered weeds all up and down the reef. So trolling the reef is a little brutal. Some folks, however, they got the live bait going on. All right, so you're starting to show up. I've heard good. All night long. There we go. Matthew Gonzalez. Wahoo, couple of king mackerels. That's a solid day right there. Can't complain about that. That's some good eatings. Very good, very good, very good. So, the deep reef is still happening. The wahoo are going to kind of peter off a little bit until June. Robert, looks like he took the kiddo out, got in on a nice blackfin tuna. So, a little bit of every species is swimming around right now, as we can see. That's our bite. We got Mike up north a little bit. He gave us a little bit of info on this blackfin tuna. Decent blackfin tuna on the Nomad DTX. You can see it right here. He was trolling it. Got 3 all on the artificial, all on the troll. And he says, yes, they will eat a lure with wire leader. So there you go. That's just a little bit of info. Caught a bunch of smaller mahi dolphin, if you may. Mylar duster pin rig ballyhoo. So there you go, ballyhoo and like a sea witch almost, but it's almost just like a little chrome head. None of them in the picture. He says a friend of his caught 18 dolphin, including 3 gaffers, all in close 90 feet Saturday morning. Wow. Yep. Maybe I should have stayed on the reef. Anyway, I gave up on the reef. It was too many people, too much seaweed, and trolling up a shark is not up my alley. Anyway, let's continue. John found the dolphin. There we go. Kind of slow, like he says, out of Stewart. Got this one in 80 feet between the inlet and the nuclear power. Hey, still, nice catch. Taco time, right? So the mahi are starting to show up, folks. Neil Link, PalmBeachCharters.net. He's a captain out of Palm Beach. So if you're in the area looking for, a charter captain, you can contact him. If you can't get a hold of him, get in touch with me. In touch with him. Some nice dolphin for these ladies, and that looks, can't tell if it's a grunt. That's not a hogfish. It could be a hogfish. No, it looks more like a grunt. Anyway, dinner. Going home with some meat right there. So, can we see from all of this? That's pretty much what we got going on for everybody's posts this week. Okay. So, what we gather, right, is the dolphin are starting to show up. That's everybody that wants to get out there and hunt them down. From what I could see, they were in shallow this weekend over the reef. So those scattered weeds, get out there and give it a try. You'll just have to deal with picking weeds off your line and go on ahead. We do have some weather coming in, folks. Another front, as you saw today, will be passing through. Disturbed weather. What we got is cold weather up top, warm weather down low, and that's to make a mess. So we'll probably end up fog tomorrow morning because of that. All right, so let's get right into our weather report, see what's going to happen. Like I said, we've got a couple nice days in front of us today, tomorrow. After that, the fan is going to turn on. Love the videos. Thank you, Willis. I appreciate it. Thanks for showing up and saying hi. All right, so let's get right to and get on with life. Nice fishing report. I'm glad everybody got to get out this weekend. There's today and tomorrow, and then it's going to start picking. So here's where we are with our wind right now. Let's look at tomorrow morning, right? Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. We're blowing northwest. Again, we've got a front that's going to push through, okay? It'll cool down a little bit, not a ton, but fairly mild. It'll be in the low 80s come, the top of the day. All right, so tomorrow, northwest winds. Again, if you're new to this show, this is windy. All of these websites we're going to go over. Description, just copy and click the link. Windy has a very cool feature. It's color coded down here. So if you see the green, you're looking at between 10 and 20 miles an hour. If you are on a PC, not on your phone, you can just click wherever you want to show you exactly what they're predicting those winds to be in that area. So, between Boca and Fort Lauderdale, 11 knots, they're saying from the north. And this is tomorrow morning. Okay. So, again, front pass long. So we should have, pretty much flat seas. It's starting to pick up in the afternoon. The wind's going to shift to the northeast. So there's not much of a window left for fair weather. Today was kind of a morning. After that, as we can see, Thursday morning, it starts blowing heavy. Look at this. You got these yellows, which is 20 plus, right? Down in the lower Keys and everything. Of course, the west coast of Florida, all up through Tampa, Big Bend, and there on the leewards, this wind. So they'll have, fairly laid down seas in air state waters, which is up to 9 miles out. South Florida, all the way up north, Vero Beach and everything, Sebastian, everybody, we're getting, some heavy winds starting Wednesday night, heading into Thursday and throughout the weekend. Okay, so these winds here are 16 knots from the northeast. Now, a knot, folks, is 1.1 miles an hour. So 16 knots, 16 hours. It's right there, almost the same. Not much of a difference. Thursday afternoon, wind still ripping down in the Keys. It's even here. They're looking at 21 steady, right? This graphic here isn't showing us gusts. It's showing us what they're predicting steady winds to be. So Friday morning, oof, look at that. We are, let's just take a looky at BOCA. We're looking at 20 knots, 20 miles an hour east winds. And as it hits, it will slow down, of course, but out on the ocean, not looking very friendly. Over the reef, you're looking in 16. So the seas are definitely going to be kicked up starting Thursday into Friday afternoon. Winds, don't really cut much of a break. The Keys are getting heavier. They're sticking way out there, all the way up in Vero. Same thing. That's from Friday, Saturday morning, same thing. It shifts to the southeast, right? But we're looking at pretty much the same thing, in between 10 and 20 miles an hour, steady. Saturday afternoon, it tends to slow down a little bit, but it's not. It's going to keep pulling. We can look into Sunday, still the same thing. So what we've got is, this front passes and then the wind is on and it's going to start ripping from the southeast. As you can see, Fort Lauderdale area, that's kind of far offshore. It's not. It's going to be big seas, 3 to 5, bigger. Noon, a little bit of a lay down, but not much. Monday it looks like it's starting to give in. Monday morning, 8 a.m. Inshore, 7 knots from the south. But then again, you're going to have winds for several days in a row. Just because the winds let up for a few hours, that does not mean the sea lay down. I mean, they'll start. It looks like the wind's laying down, so the seas will tend to want to look like they're gonna lay down a little bit. He's a little bit, left 7 miles an hour. Looking at 2 to 4 in conditions like this, with this wind blowing from the south. Morning, our wind starts to the west, which might be indicative of a swell forming if that wind stays in that pattern. Tuesday afternoon, it shifts back to the south, so the formation of the swell is not very light. All right, so now let's go to our waves and let's go to tomorrow morning. All right, so tomorrow morning, like I said, today we had great dead flat seas. Tomorrow morning also is your day to get out there. The Keys are enjoying nice mild seas, Tri-County area all the way to Beach, and the West Coast also in there, 4 inches of water. Same with Everglades National Park. Very nice dead flat seas. Tomorrow, light seas in the morning, and as you can see, noontime, it's going to start picking up. Same thing, click wherever it is, it'll show you 2 foot to the north with a 4-second period, right? So that's what we're close that graphic out. And it's just going to pick as the night progresses. Come Thursday morning, here we are. Like I said, the front has passed through and the wind is going to start picking up after the front passes through. We're looking at 4-foot seas from the northeast with a 4-second period. All the way, the further north you go, the shallower the water is, right? It'll be a little bit calmer, but down in Vero South, we're looking at 4 feet. Everglades National Park looks nice. All the way down in the Keys, again, really shallow inland waters. To the west of Canal is very shallow. I wouldn't expect that to be very bumpy. But once you get out, reefs looking like it's going to be, sporty out there. Let's see, Thursday afternoon, same thing. Still looking at big seas, 5 foot seas, 5 period over the area. Friday morning, even bigger. Looking at 6 foot seas, 5-second period. So the weather report, you know, for the remainder of the week after tomorrow, it looks like it's going south, folks. Like I said, that the front passes, the fan turns on. The wave heights are going to, you know, vary a little bit here and there. Saturday, it's still, you know, we're looking at, they're saying 5 foot. So see what happens. Saturday afternoon, same thing, 3 to 5, definitely. Sunday, same thing, not much changes. Even the Keys, you know, the 6 inches of water on. They got it easy. The lake don't look too bad if you're into fresh. Even Biscayne Bay, they're saying season. Biscayne Bay, that's oh Lord. So you know there's some wind going on when you got a, you know, coastal waters that big. Same thing Sunday, Monday. The seas lay down a little bit. We're looking at 3 foot seas. So after the weekend, early into next week, we'll get a little bit of a break. It's still going to be a choppy sea out there, though. You got that wind coming from the south, waves coming from the southeast. So, you know, it'll be sporty, but not totally undoable. Beginning of next week. In the afternoon, it's still the same thing. Heading into Tuesday. Tuesday looks like we're going to get cut a break, especially south to Miami. You got 1 foot waves at 3-second period. So it's choppy, but not bad. All the way up Fort Pierce, Vero, you know, in close, not bad. 3 foot at an 8-second period. As we head to Palm Beach, down to Palm Beach, 2 foot waves at a 5-second period. So Tuesday not looking too bad, right, folks? As we head into the afternoon hours, it looks like it lightens up and a little bit. We'll see Wednesday. It looks like it might pick up a little bit more. So next, we've got today, tomorrow a little bit, and then, you know, Monday into next Tuesday. Monday will be a little sporty. Tuesday looks like the lighter of both days. The weekend here, you know, on the East Coast, Tri-County area south, you know, the whole East Coast, you got some weather happening this weekend. So, you know, make plans to do something else. All right, let's take a look at our rain. So with this front passing through, we had some rain today. Rain's going to continue tonight about 10 o'clock. Some spotty shower. Not much for the rest of the week. So this is tomorrow. A little bit offshore stuff as the front passes tomorrow afternoon. And then it starts dry. Thursday, Friday, dry. Friday afternoon, sure, but nothing. You know, tiny little showers. Nothing at all really happening. Saturday afternoon, looks like we get something forming over the West Coast. Storms are coming. Sunday morning, and as the night goes through. So we'll go over the state. Sunday, we're looking at some moisture in the air. So Saturday afternoon, coming from the west, pulling to the east, and then the formation of it again Sunday over the, you know, the better part of the state, and will, you know, rain itself as night falls and goes through, and then maybe a little bit of, looks like a little bit thing on Monday. So that's pretty good. You know, we're in a dry season, right? Use all the rain. You know, the wind is what it is. It's springtime, so we're going to have, you know, these windy sessions coming through, but they will tend to come to a close. April comes in. There we go. And we're back up. That's like the 5th or 6th time already this session. Sorry about that, folks. You know, hey, like, anyway. All right. So let's take a look. The numerical version of what we just looked at. So like I said, I've already looked at it a little bit. It's in complete agreement. Today, work, 1 foot waves, pretty much from the east. Tomorrow, starting out light in the, and you can see the elevated wind, not very gusty, but steady into the upper teens as the day progresses into night. Again, 1 foot seas, not much, and you can see they progressively start to pick up. They will shift from the east to the northeast direction. Caught a 25-pound bull off burrow and 5 other of his little friends. Awesome. Hey, whew, that's a solid dolphin right there. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. Bro, man, I wish I was this weekend. I was on the shark on the planer. Ugh. Made the mistake of yanking him in the boat because I didn't want to lose my sea witch either. Was not my moment. Anyway, let's continue. All right, so you see, and then Thursday, as you can see, the winds stay elevated, upper teens, not very gusty at all. Into Friday, Saturday, the same thing. The fan stays on. So Thursday, right, we're looking at 3 to 5 foot seas. The biggest of the days looks like Friday, 6 foot seas, 5 to 6 second period. So it's going to be fairly gnarly out there. Saturday, same thing, 6 foot seas, 7 second period, winds still steady at the upper teens, a little gusty out there, but not bad. Sunday, again, it shifts to the southeast, mid to upper teens, gusts coming in, and the waves are still hitting us at from the east at 4 to 5 feet. Come Monday, that's where we saw that little bit of a let. So there's a little bit of a discrepancy between what they're saying and what Wendy's graphic was showing. Here, Monday, they're saying, you're still looking at 3 to 4 foot seas, 8 second period. Come Tuesday, that wind shifts from the west, right? So it kind of spreads out the period of the waves, 3 foot. So Tuesday was that day where we said, hey, it'll probably be, a little bit lighter. And that would be the day you're wanting to look if you're able to next Tuesday. So this kind of jives with what they're saying. You'll have a 9 second period, 3 foot waves according to them. According to Windy, it's like 2 foot. So, again, look at your webcams, your live action shot, not necessarily live action shots, but up-to-date webcam footage of your inlets and stuff, and see if it's not too bad to get out there and do it. Okay, let's take a look at NOAA, see what they're going to say about this. Again, NOAA is kind of a really broad area to look at. So let's see. Tomorrow, they're saying 5 to 10 knots, seas around 2 feet. So yes, again, tomorrow. Today was nice. Tomorrow is, one of the big days to get out there and do it. Thursday, they're saying the seas will pick up to 3 to 5, 10 to 15 knots from the northeast. So they're in cahoots with what everything else says. Thursday through Saturday, they're saying 15 to 20, gusts up to 25, seas 4 to 6 feet. So they're right in line with the other two forecast predictors that we are using. Saturday night, Sunday, seas 2 to 4 foot, occasionally to 5. So again, the whole weekend is looking fairly built up. Tomorrow and then into early next week, with Tuesday being the day that is looking fairly friendly, boater friendly at least, if you're looking to get out. Other than that, it's going to be nice weather, just not nice for boating and fishing. All right, so let's take a look at our moon phase. See how it's going to help us, if any at all, for these couple of days where we can get out. Again, so quick, we'll go over. We are on a waxing crescent moon. Real quick, if you don't understand terminology when it is for talking about the moon. Waxing means we're in waning. My eyesight is horrible, so I just don't wear my glasses. If you want me to wear my glasses, I can, and then I can really see better, but I'm not. There we go. Just to let you know that I do wear cheaters. All right. Anyway, we're waning. Waning means you're heading towards the dark side of the moon. Waxing means you're heading towards the bright side, the full moon. Okay, so we are currently heading towards the new moon. So today we are at 19% waning. Tomorrow, Wednesday, 11%. Thursday, 5%. Friday, 1%. Saturday, the new moon. Okay, and then we head into Sunday, 2% waxing, where we start heading towards the full moon. Monday, 7%. Tuesday, 15%. So the good thing about these days, I tend to think that the moon, where we're at here, with very little illumination at night, makes it so that your pelagics, like the mahi, can feed a little better. I tend to like the full moon. When you're approaching the full moon, a couple days before, a couple days after, is typically it turns your mackerel bite on. Your kingfish, your ceros, definitely your wahoo. Wahoo tend to feed better when full moon is approaching. Now, what they're biting, whether it's troll bait, high-speed trolling, live baiting, that's it. They're wahoo. They are an elusive fish, but that bite for mackerel is definitely moon-based. Other fish, your snapper fishing, your pelagics, like your dolphin, those fish tend to feed better. Just speaking from experience now, everybody's got their own process behind this. The less illuminated skies, those fish are feeding less at night. So just something to think about. If you got a full moon, your pelagics are chasing down fish and eating all night. You got a less of a moon, you have to go purely on not sight and pretty much sensing the water. When the moon is illuminating them, they can see them clear as day, and it makes the pickings easy. All right, now let's take a look at our tide charts. So the moon is going to be good for your pool. If those dolphins are still hanging around, that'd be great. Let's look at and the tide charts. Also, this is very much appealing when it fishing jetties. So real quick, we'll go over this. If you're fishing your inlets, whether it's land-based or you're outside of it, whether it's reef fishing, trolling, jigging, whatever you're doing, you need the outgoing tide. If you're fishing the incoming tide, it's not effective. You're not going to catch anything, especially if you're fishing from shore right there on the jetties. The outgoing tide pushes out the sediment, the little microorganisms, phytoplanktons, everything. Little fish come in and stuff, and then the big fish come in and eat them. That is the cycle of life at an inlet. So the outgoing tide. And then it needs to follow the sort of pattern, better in the morning, better in the afternoon as the sun is setting. If you've got your outgoing tide in the middle of the day, it's really not effective, right? So you're fishing your inlet, it's all about timing and the right flow of water.